Well, good morning, family. Hope everybody is doing great. Now, give you time to log on. Would you go ahead and share this with somebody? I got a lot of ground to cover. I want to do a quick morning manna. Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. There's just a place, there's an assignment that I'm convinced God has us on in this season. While everybody's logging in, I'm going to release something today, okay? We're waiting for the copyrights to come back on this. I was looking for music to play to get us started. And always we wind up this stuff in public, that's not in public domain. And if and then it just bounces back and then the audio freezes and it just drives me crazy. So about a month or so ago, and I've been really struggling about just having healthy outlets, and at the same time stretching myself a little bit and trying to figure out exactly what that looks like. And so one of the things that really got laid upon my heart is, and I'm looking for the exact lyrics so I can share it with you real quick, that really got laid upon my heart is that I should try to do something that I'm just clueless about, and maybe it would just be an outlet for me. And so I started this process, and it's going slow, I want to confess, but I've started this process of lyricizing my sermon content, where I'm saying to my sermon, if you were a song, what would these characters, what would they be singing, to the congregation or to the community? And so I'm starting that process. Let me be very clear. I am not musically inclined at all. I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to play an instrument. There is one thing I do know how to do, and that's write. And so I started writing some pieces, and I'm going to share one. We're waiting for the copyrights to come back. It's going to have to be perfected in so many ways. But back in 2023, I wrote a sermon called I Live to See It, about Elizabeth and Zacharias. It was in that series, Advent Sermon series that I did that year. And so let me read the content to you real quick, and then I'm going to play the song. And then as soon as the song is over, we're going to jump right into our coffee chat. So have everybody on. So here it is. You kept your word. You broke the night. Pain gave way to risen light. What we carried, you have lifted. What was shattered, you have shifted. Eyes once weeping, now behold it. Every promise you have spoken. And then the second verse is, chains hit the floor. The yoke is broken. Debt is canceled. Word is spoken. Fear bows low. Your love stands tall. Christ our victory once for all. What we prayed for, you have answered. In the land of the living, we confess goodness of the Lord, nothing less. And then the chorus is, all of the glory, all of the power, all of the blessings. I live to see it. I lived to see it. My salvation, I live to see it. My joy, I live to see it. My peace, I live to see it. No more bondage, no more pain. I live to see it. And then there's sort of a vamp at the end. Glory, I live to see it. Power, I live to see it. Blessing, I live to see it. And all the things. So let me go ahead and play it for you. And then we're going to jump into the coffee chat. Don't judge your pastor too harshly, y'all. This is going to tie in to the Philippians 4:13 moment that I'm about to release to us. And so I want you to really kind of focus in on it. So here you go.
You kept your word. You broke the night. Pain gave way to risen light. What we carry, you have lifted. What was shattered, you have shifted. Eyes once weeping, now beholding. Every promise you have spoken. All the glory,
All of the power, all the blessing. I live to see it. Here's verse 2, y'all. Chains hit the floor.
The yoke is broken. Debt is canceled. Word is spoken. Fear bows low. Your love stands tall. Christ our victory.
Christ our victory. Once for all. What we prayed for, you have answered. In the land of the living, we confess the goodness of the Lord, nothing less. All of the glory, all the power, no more pain. That's the testimony. We live to see it, y'all. No more bondage, no more pain.
I live to see it again and again.
Well, that's I Live to See It, written by your pastor, because God has us in a season. And so let me start off with Philippians 4:13. We know it. We can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. And that it's been weighing on me lately, right? Because I've been thinking, like, what are the all things exactly? And so what I want to kind of theme out today's coffee chat with is that God has us in a season of bigger than me. You know, everybody just type in bigger than me. I really feel like we've gone through like 20 years of local church growth and building and development. And now God is like, the next several years are all about my kingdom. I've only built you to be this for my kingdom. And then how do we leverage what the Lord has blessed us with to this point to build out the kingdom, to really create. You know, I saw a podcast recently, and this kind of ties into the song I wrote. And if you know, for those of you just tuning in, we just played a song called I Live to See It that I wrote, and we just submitted for copywriting. And then there's a song I wrote called Until All Thrive. That is the jingle for my show on Mondays. And you know, I was reading or listening to a podcast where they were saying like most of the music that's sung in churches are written by like 5 groups of people, like 5 other churches or 5. I'm just like, all these churches, and like we're not writing music, right? And that's just, I mean, this is not about the music side. This is about the kingdom side. This is about the piece that's like bigger than us. And so the place God has me as your pastor is that I really believe we are in a bigger than us season. But the bigger than us season is not just a corporate bigger than us. I think it's also about a church as an individual bigger than us. Like, so we have to lean in spaces where I'm out of my comfort zone. And so I was thinking about Philippians 4:13 relative to this, and I wrote down three things. The first thing I wrote down is that there are going to be bigger assignments that God is going to call. My next assignment is going to be out of my comfort zone. Because if I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, why am I only doing the things I'm comfortable with? Why am I only doing things the way I'm comfortable with it? It's almost as if we contradict the text. Because we're saying I can do all things, but I'm only doing the things I'm comfortable with. I'm only doing the things that I like. I'm only doing the things I'm familiar with. Well, that's not all things. That's just some things that are my preference. That's just some things as my agenda, right? So I think the first thing is going to be bigger assignments. And what I want you to hear, and you're going to see this as I kind of lay out, and we'll be on for 45 minutes total. So we'll finish at 8:45. Remember, if you have questions, y'all, put them in now. Do it early. Our operations team we have a Teams group, and they'll send them to me. But it's a 3-minute delay. Okay. So I'm already 3 minutes ahead of y'all right now. Okay. So bigger assignments means for everybody. It doesn't just mean for your ministry. It means for you as an individual. So I think bigger assignments. Let me just say this. Let me throw this in. Do I want to do this now? I don't have any idea how big a group I have on yet. Let me wait. So I think, first of all, bigger assignments, that we have to do things that are more anchored in kingdom, more anchored in mission. And I think we've done exactly what we needed to do at this point. Like, I think we're exactly where we need to be. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I think we have an apostolic assignment on us. That just simply means a kingdom assignment. It means something that is bigger than us, something that blesses other people. That we're not only building the brand of Word Tabernacle Church, but we're building a larger kingdom enterprise for the Lord Jesus. I think bigger assignments also means not just bigger than us, but I think the scope of bigger assignments. So I think it's the blackboard, right, in the classroom. So it means somebody 50 years old going back to get your bachelor's degree or your PhD. I think it's boardroom, where we're putting more people in seats of authority. That's bigger than us. I think it's in our community or on the block. So I literally wrote blackboard, boardroom, and block. Like, whatever it is, I think the work needs to be bigger than us. I think it's opening a business in an economic downturn. I think it is. I mean, we have companies that are laying off in our community here in Rocky Mount. Don't look at that as, oh my God, it's the end of the world, the sky is falling. Look at it as a God-given or God-created opportunity to launch you into something that maybe you wouldn't have done. And so I think what I want us to think about when we're thinking about all things is that assignments that outgrow our comfort but align with our calling. Like, I want to do something, God, that outgrows my comfort. And as I look at us as a totality, which is why I'm stretching myself. Like, again, I'm going to say this because I want to be very clear. I am not a musician. I am not a singer. If for somebody who does not do that can start putting some songs together, that's way out of my comfort zone. That's way out of my alignment. But it's the calling God has on me right now. Then that's an example how all of us can do something that's way beyond us. So I think number one is what God is about to do at Word is a bigger assignment. Okay, y'all got that? And you're gonna see that as I kind of lay out some of the reporting. I'm just checking my phone to make sure I'm current on messages. And I'll check, just so you know, I'll check. So I'm getting a message, y'all, that there's no audio on YouTube. Can someone confirm for me if that is a correct message or not? So thank y'all very much. Because then I don't know how much people heard and didn't hear. Okay, because I can't see you guys the way you can see me. So if someone can work on that, I appreciate that. So I just got distracted. I'm sorry, guys. And so I think number one is God is calling us into a bigger assignment. Let me say a second thing. I think the second thing that is happening is that God is there's going to be brutal adversaries. Like, I think the enemy is going to come at us in a whole different way. But I want you to think about something, whether it's the boardroom or whether it is on the block or whether it is in the blackboard, it all belongs to God. Somebody type that in. It all belongs to God. And I think what God is calling us to at this point is we just have to walk with Christ. Like, this is something I'm learning, family, that just because I have faith, that doesn't change my fight. Like, my faith does not change my fight. Like, I'm in the same fight whether I have faith or not. What it does, though, is it changes and strengthens who's in me helping with the fight. And so I do think that there's some fights we have ahead of us. I think they're going to be systemic and structural in nature. I think there are going to be some internal fights because I'm about to introduce a church-wide restructure. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I'm trying to set all of it up. But as you know, my motto for ministry, and did y'all get y'all Java? What y'all drinking it out there? So, okay, we're good. So, there's going to be a bigger assignment, but there's going to be some brutal adversaries. Like, I really want to come for the enemy, y'all. I want to come for the enemy. I want his head. I just do. Like, I'm losing so much respect for people that want to do social ministry and social action and social ministry and social service, but they don't want to speak about social justice. Like, I'm about sick of that. Like, either you want to have a tutoring program or a food program or whatever program, but you won't speak to the devils that create the systemic structures to cause the need for the tutoring program. I think God is calling us as a ministry to get into that fight. And so I think there's going to be, bigger assignments because this is bigger than us. This is beyond us. I think there's going to be brutal adversaries. And so I just want us to, it kind of reminds me of the early days of our ministry. Do y'all remember early days of Word Tabernacle? People really got grief for joining our church. Some of you don't know our history. But like, we were the young new church. I was the guy from out of town. People didn't know us. They knew I was a church planner. And they were like, he's going to be here for 3 months, 6 months, a year, start the church, get it going and leave. It's not going to last. It won't make it. One very popular elected official at the time called us the ghetto church. And that was 20 years ago. And we're still here. And so when people joined the church early on, it was like, that church not going to last. You don't know who that preacher is. Da, 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 da. And people had to really take grief for becoming a member of Word Tabernacle. And I think in some regards, we're going to be back at that unpopular spot for a little while, because at some point, somebody has to speak to the injustice. Somebody has to speak. You guys have heard me say this before, but let me just say this again. If I claim to love you, be clear, as your pastor, I definitely do. If I claim to love you and all I do is talk to you about your sins, but I never challenge the people who sin against you. All I'm doing is coming for you, but I never challenge the people who are sinning against you. Is that really an expression of love? I would argue not. And, when we don't stand up and speak truth to the adversary, I think we are doing the Lord a disservice. So I think we're going to have a season of some brutal adversaries. And then I think the last thing, because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, there's going to be boundless assistance. That God is going to supply everything I need. But I want you to hear this. Let me tell you how God is going to do it. God is going to do it through Christ and community. Somebody type that in, Christ and community. He's going to do it through Christ. So I want you to get what I'm about to say. This is setting up everything I'm about to go through. Christ is the source. The saints are the structure and the system. Christ is the source. The saints are the system. We're the system, y'all. The issue here is not whether or not Christ is going to supply everything we need. He's going to supply everything we need. So when he says all things, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He's gonna give me everything I need, every resource. He's gonna give us the wisdom. He's gonna give us the relationships. He's gonna give us the generosity. He's gonna give us the strength. He's going to make sure the source is there. We have to do our job. And that's kind of where I want to, remind us about, okay? So having said that, I just want to hit a couple things real quick because there's been a lot of movement, right? And so I have been losing sleep at night because the thing that causes me to lose sleep is living beneath our potential, which is why I think the Lord had Philippians 4:13 on my heart, that there's got to be bigger assignments, that this has to be bigger than us, that this has to be beyond our comfort and beyond our capacity. So I want us to begin thinking about ministry in that regard, okay? Now, having said that, I'm about to introduce some restructure. Why, Pastor? Let me connect the dots for us. And again, if you have questions, go ahead and type them in now. Moderators are checking. They're going to forward them over to me so I can answer them at the end. But if you start asking a question, once I start answering them, I'm not going to get it in time before I log off, okay? So let me just say something. Our church is doing well. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Praise him, all creatures here below. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Woo! We are doing well. We're tracking. In some ways, we're exceeding the previous year. In some ways, we are right there and we can make up the ground. So give you an idea. And we still have tomorrow, right? I'm going to talk about Fifth Sunday. So who knows? We could make this up by tomorrow. First of all, I want to say we have picked up ground again on baptisms. We had really lost track. We lost some ground. Last year, we did not have a good baptism number. I think we baptized like 49 or 50 people for the year. That's way beneath what we have historically done. I mean, we've had years of always over 100 and many years of 150. And our goal is 150. We've already baptized 78 people this year. And so we've still got September, October, 4 months left. So I definitely think we'll get back into the 3-digit category. We're already, almost 30 baptisms more than last year already. Phenomenal. Outstanding. And I'm going to get into the details of all these numbers at our business meeting the last Saturday in September. And I meant to pull that date up and I don't have it in front of me, but I'll get it. But here's the other number. Year-to-date decisions, 433. 433 decisions so far this year. Last year was our single best year in the history of the church, and we were at 448. So we're only 15 decisions less than the single best year in the history of the church. The previous year, 2023, was our best year up until that point, and we've exceeded that year. So we are really tracking well. I think we're going to get to a 600 decision number this year. I do think we need to work harder at, inviting people to church, bringing people to church, witnessing in our communities, all of the things, but we're tracking well. So the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of times when churches or businesses or nonprofits or communities, when they are restructuring, looking at changes, it's because it's falling apart and they're trying to save it. That's not our story. The story for Word Tabernacle is we're doing well and we want to do better. We're doing well, but we want to live up to our potential as a ministry. And that's where I think the biggest place of improvement is. We can do better. And again, it's bigger than us. I think the numbers that I've just given you are numbers that represent what we can do for us. I don't think it represents what we can do for the kingdom of God, what we can do with apostolic authority. And be clear, when I say apostolic authority, I'm not talking about an office. You don't ever have to worry about your pastor claiming to be an apostle, okay? But what I have historically said to you is that I do have an apostolic anointing. And so I want to see kingdom work. I want to see this work broader and bolder. And that's what I'm trying to lead us to. So I hope y'all hear my heart about that. So having said that, let me go through some dates with you real quick, and then we'll kind of wrap up with Q&A at the end. Just a reminder, first of all, there's the missions event going on this weekend. They started yesterday. They're finishing up today at 1:30. They'll be in the lobby tomorrow after service, along with every other ministry of the church. I've been walking through the lobby. Man, the church, the ministries have done such an amazing job of setting up tables, promoting. I know it's a holiday weekend, and so I know some people may be traveling, but I really felt led to not take us on an E-City service because tomorrow is a fifth Sunday and we only have 4 a year. So if you're wondering why are we not on E-City on a holiday weekend, is because it fell on a fifth Sunday, and it generally is a high visitation Sunday for us, and I didn't want to lose that opportunity, okay? So tomorrow when you come to church, a reminder, it's a 9 a.m. service. You know, work hard to get here at 8:30. I'm expecting it to be crowded. I hope it'll be crowded. The ministries have worked super hard for the ministry fair. And what I've asked them to do is set up shop so we can get everyone plugged into a ministry. And a lot of times, sometimes you have questions. I'll just be really honest. I mean, many of you do one-on-ones with me, and your testimony is, Pastor, I sent in an email, I sent in the form, and nobody got back to me. And we are working on those systems. I promise you we are. We're trying to gap it. We're trying to bridge that gap. And one of the ways we're doing is just setting it up in person. Walk through the whole lobby after service. Excuse me, I've had a tickle last few days. Walk through the lobby and go to every table. Talk to people. Introduce yourself to people. Meet the ministry leaders. Find out what they do. Get plugged in. Make a commitment to serve. Really, really want to encourage you to do that. So service is at 9 tomorrow. Get here a little early. Those of us who are serving, you know, and get here early for sound checks and all the things, please, you know, greeters, all you folk, you know, choir members, praise team, all that, band, you know, let's get off site. Off site for us is the lot where the tower is, and the grass lot right next to Arby's. We own both those lots now, and so transfer of a title was sent to us about 2 months ago, I guess. So let's try to make plenty of space. If you can carpool, please do that. Way to save gas and build relationships. And so I would encourage you to do that. So tomorrow's going to be a big day. I'm really excited about it. It's also election season for municipal elections. And so we need to set up an ongoing kiosk. We can decide what kiosk number it is. Kiosk 1, 2, 3, whatever number y'all decide, let me know. And then we can always tell candidates they can go to that kiosk. And then you as a membership can always know where to go on Sunday, whether or not they're going to be candidates around, okay? I'm expecting candidates to start showing up. And so I want us to still be very civically engaged. We need to make sure we're registering to vote. We need to make sure we're doing all those things, right? So tomorrow, ministry fair, fifth Sunday service, really going to be great. I can't wait to see y'all at 9 a.m. Second thing that I wanted to lift up is, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and make this announcement now. I'm going to wait because this is a biggie. Homecoming, September 19th to the 21st. Big deal. A thing scheduled all weekend long. It's also HBCU and Divine 9 weekend. Going to be an amazing weekend. Mark your calendars, the 19th, 20th, and 21st. The 19th, that Friday, Word Tab Honors. The 20th, we'll have civic engagement, breakfast, and we'll have other activity going on. And then, of course, Sunday, the 21st, one service, homecoming, 9 a.m. For HBCU Divine Nine Sunday. Got great merch. We're redoing the bookstore. Miss Ida has worked so hard for 20 years. She's been running the bookstore for 20 years. We finally trying to give her a little break, and we've gone in and we've started renovating it and doing some different things, putting some different merch in there, ordering some different things. I was hoping to be ready for tomorrow. It won't be because we're waiting for countertops to be installed, but we're getting a step closer. And so, but their merch is available for homecoming. Make sure you're wearing Word Tab gear. Listen, if you're wondering what to wear tomorrow, wear something Word Tab, and so wear something Word Tab. That's what I probably will do, is wear something Word Tab. But I want to encourage you about service tomorrow and about homecoming on September 19th to the 21st. October 4th is the church's first 5K run. If it needs to be a 5K walk, I am asking you to participate, especially my men, but I want everybody to participate. I'm going to participate. And so I've started preparing on Monday. It's a holiday, and I'm going to start my running on Monday. So I will be in a position to run this 5K. And brothers, y'all know me. I'm gonna shame you. If I run this 5K, when I run this 5K, and y'all don't run, y'all don't participate, I'm gonna shame you. I am, because we gotta lead by example, brothers, and sisters are doing the darn thing. And so I want to encourage us, get yourself 5K ready. If you can't run it, walk it. But I want us to participate. This is a formal 5K. This is not some slap it to the wall, see if it sticks event. This is like the whole formal registration thing, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so it's a big deal. And that will replace our men's roundtable on Saturday, October 4th. There will be a roundtable next Saturday. A week from today, there is a roundtable. But the next roundtable, October 4th, is going to occur in the parking lot at the finish line of the 5K. Okay, so we're going to do 5K together as a group of brothers. And so just mark your calendars and be mindful of that. Now, church restructure. Let's talk a little bit about that. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in. The theme is bigger than me. I'm going to be starting to meet with staff and leaders, board of directors, and board of elders over the next couple of weeks. My goal is to have all this implemented by year end so that we have a fresh start for 2026. But I'm looking at a total church-wide restructure that will also add some positions. And I think this is out on your email, but I didn't put it on social media. We will probably do that today. But I always try to give our members first crack. We have 3 full-time open positions as a result of the restructure. Well, some of them is just replacing people. But the 3 full-time openings are, first of all, chief of staff. And so I'm going to be stepping away from the day-to-day operations of the church. I want to focus on staff and leadership training. I want to focus on our relationship with Converge. I want to focus on E4 editions, which is our men's roundtable and our annual conference. I want to make sure I'm supporting ministries. I'm building up the governance of the church. And I want to spend a lot of time on civic engagement because it's my passion. It's one of my passions. And in order to do those things successfully, I want to start doing some grant writing because I think we're leaving a lot of money on the table. And I want to make sure that our toolkit project is fully across the finish line. So, having said that, I need to step away from day-to-day operations. I'm here every day, but I'm not running the day-to-day operations. And so we need a chief of staff to do that, or an executive pastor, however we may phrase it. It's a wonderful opportunity for somebody. The bottom line is, this person is going to make sure the vision that the Lord has given me actually becomes actions. It becomes outcomes. We actually get it across the finish line. And that we're doing it in a cohesive way and not in silos, which is something that I think we can improve upon. The other, we're going to start putting some areas together. We have hired a new, and I'm going to send out something introducing all the new staff. But we've hired a full-time youth director. And so Pastor Kyle's going to be overseeing that youth director, but we want to try to build up and grow and strengthen the youth ministry. So he begins on technically Monday. So it'll really be Tuesday because we're off Monday. He'll be in church tomorrow, I'm sure. And so there's some areas that, we're going to need to tighten up around the Reach Center, around community engagement, around capacity building. I want to make sure that we're having real benchmark programs. And when I mean by a benchmark program, what I mean is when people hear Word Tabernacle, what do they think? And there are certain things I want them to think about us. I want them to think about us as a conversion community where lots of people are getting saved and baptized. I want them to think about us as a place of capacity building for nonprofits. I want them thinking about a place of wellness. I want them thinking about a place of real civic engagement. So there are things that I want to be known as a ministry, okay? And so I want us to be known as having an outstanding school and outstanding youth ministry and youth department. So there's going to be some build outs to kind of get us in alignment around that. A lot more work on triaging and trauma and wellness and emotional and mental health. A lot of more emphasis on physical health and intentionality around growing the Impact Academy, getting it to a 3rd grade status, making sure that the logistics and safety of the church are protected, praying for that Catholic school and church in Minneapolis where children were killed and hurt. So when you hear me talking about safety measures, it's for a reason, guys. Okay, it's just not me talking. It's for a reason. The other full-time position beyond the chief of staff role is the office of campus management and venue services. And so this is Albert's old position with some added things. We're starting to rent the facility with increasing regularity, and we really need to focus in on that heavily. So all of our administrative services, the facility usage, facility maintenance, housekeeping, information systems, culinary, we have that restaurant license, but really building that up. We need a full-time person to manage the campus management and venue services. So the email is out. You can log. If y'all go ahead and put on all the platforms the link on a website that people can go to, that'll be great. We're going to also put this out on social media. We had not done it. It was all internal. Combining fiscal services and compliance so that we have a full-blown, not just fiscal affairs and accounting, but we're doing HR properly, human resources. We're doing grants writing and management more cohesively, that we're being really clear about our donor and member database management and our purchasing and auditing all kind of rolling up together. So that's the area that Shavonda is over, but just really beefing that up with some additional staff, particularly a grant writer. And then Pastor Lenny, whether or not you know, is full-time military person, lives over an hour away on the military base, is going to be required to travel because of the military. And as a result, he has stepped down as our worship pastor. And so we're going to need to hire a worship and creative arts director, or pastor, or minister. That's a full-time role likely as well. And so we'll wrap all of those areas up together under that new individual. And that is an opportunity that exists. And I think one area that we're going to have to really look at is digital discipleship and AI, artificial intelligence. And that, in my opinion, that has to be a full-time role. It moves so quickly. AI is moving so quickly. Digital discipleship, our single biggest opportunity for growth, still remains on the eCity campus, because we have the ability in a click, man, to get it all over the world. I was sent the first rendition. They sent me, our consultants sent me our new platform that had my entire sermon in Spanish, with me speaking in Spanish. You could still hear the congregational feedback. You could still hear the organ picking me up. It was really phenomenal. I got sent that last night. We will be standing up a YouTube Spanish-speaking campus. So there'll be 2 campuses on YouTube, one for Word Tabernacle Church and one for our Hispanic members that I believe the Lord is going to let us be able to reach. And so that's something that we're working at on the digital side as well, and lots of digital discipleship stuff. And so that's kind of, where we are, a lot of merging of areas, a lot of clearer, more focused areas where the focus is not so much our individual preferences and not so much what we can do in our own comfort zones, but really what God is calling me to do from a broader perspective. Okay, that's church restructure. Last call for questions, because I'm about to start looking at them. So what am I missing? Let me give you some up. And I'll get into this at the business meeting, which is, let me get a calendar out real quick. Whatever the last Saturday, it's the only date that I didn't put down, guys, and I apologize for that. Saturday, September 27th. Okay, Saturday, September 27th, at 9 a.m. is our biannual business meeting. Okay, and I'll get into more details about all the finances, and I'll give you an update on the restructure. I expect by that meeting to have the restructure finalized, people in place, and we'll introduce soon all of our new members. We have a new band. I think they're doing a great job. So we have a new band director. So you see him now every service, and new drummer. We brought on a lead guitar on a every Sunday basis for the first time. So we're building out the music department. Some of the reason behind that, you heard the song today. I really expect that there will be a Word Tabernacle music project done this year, at least a single. And so we're going to need people who can work on a full-time basis. And oftentimes, musicians are bivocational. Sometimes they work in 2-3 jobs and don't always have the capacity to be able to commit to that kind of work. And that's part of the reason why we made some of the changes that we did. And so what am I leaving out? Let me see. And I lost myself totally. I can no longer see myself. Okay, here we go. Culinary project I'll talk about at the business meeting. We're just in a whole pattern with our architects. It's really not our architects. It's really our PME team. That's plumbing, mechanical, and electrical. You have to have a whole separate set of construction drawings for plumbing, mechanical, and electrical. There's a major backlog, and our project, unfortunately, is not big enough to push us up higher. And so we're waiting for that. The moment we get that in, we can start putting it out to bid and get started on the work. I think once we get started, it'll go quick, but it's still taking a little time. We're doing some beautification projects around the campus and an impact point. We have a word night out on Thursday. It's actually our old location, the building that we still own on Woodland Road. I'm expecting to see everybody out. Let's fill all the vans and take them over, as opposed to individual people driving, except for the people who live in Tarboro, obviously. And so we want to support that new church plant and be able to help them and support them. The only thing I have left, I'm checking last call for questions. All right, drum roll, y'all. Here's the major change. And as I'm about to introduce this change, I really want to try to push us to YouTube. I don't know that I'm going to keep us on Facebook. I want you to think of it like this. Imagine coming to church on Sunday morning to the Impact Center campus, and you have people in CPAW, and I'm talking deliberately church language because that's, y'all should be following me, Center for Performing Arts and Worship. Imagine if you had people in CPAW, people in chapel, and people in the banquet room, and people in 448. And imagine having to cover all 4 of those areas with altar counselors, with greeters. I mean, you can quickly see the complexity of doing that. I think that's what we're doing to a certain extent on our East City campus. We're trying to properly minister to people on YouTube and on Facebook and on the church website. I've recently been talking to the team about putting us out on Instagram, because there's a generation I want to make sure we're reaching, and we probably need to go live to do that. But I really want to push us away from Facebook and onto YouTube. So I really want to ask you to please go ahead and get it. I mean, it's no cost to get a subscription to like get, to get your account set up on YouTube. But go ahead and get your account set up, because I want to quickly try to move us away. I really want to try to do it in time for Bible study if we can. So that's the last thing I want to announce, that there is a return on Bible study. So let me give you the change. Some of you remember, so Bible study returns on Tuesday, September 9th. I'm picking back up. I'll be in Colossians 3. Some of you remember when we had a 12 noon Bible study and a 7 p.m. Bible study. Then post-COVID, we went back to just virtual, like eCity only Bible study. And then we went to 7 p.m. Bible study. I'm going to move us again. So this is what I want to try. I have a lot of logic behind it, guys. We're going to do an in-person Bible study Tuesdays at 12 noon. So on Tuesday, September 9th, when we come back to Bible study, we're going to come back to Bible study at 12 noon in the CPAL. We're going to have our full-blown media team present, and they're going to put together a produced, better digital version that will then be aired at 7 p.m. on Tuesday on eCity. So 12 noon in person only Bible study, 7 p.m. eCity campus Bible study, meaning we won't be in person. I want to try it. Y'all know before I've come back to say, hey, y'all, we tried something that didn't work. The number one reason I came back in person is because I wanted the kids back. And Pastor Kyle feels as if we have an opportunity to develop the children in a different way. And I want to try that. I want to see if it can work. Also, I recognize the times we're in and the culture we're in. And y'all, AAU programming, after school programming, I mean, it's just all the things. It's a lot to get people out. And if you are a parent that sings on the choir, you're coming out on Tuesday for Bible study. Then you're coming out again for Wednesday rehearsal. And then you might be coming out Thursday again for another rehearsal, right? And I'm really trying to be mindful of all of that, because I want us doing what we do well and to really double down. My goal is to start serving soup and a sandwich or soup and a salad. I think this is going to be a wonderful opportunity for First Gen. I admit a lot of what we're doing in the ministry is not First Gen oriented, right? Because it's moving so quick. It's moving beyond me, and I'm not in First Gen yet. For those of you that don't know that language, that's our older members. And I also have heard from our older members, hey, Pastor, when it starts getting dark, my eyes are not as good. I don't feel comfortable driving at night, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I want to create an opportunity to be able to revisit this. Also, if some of you remember post-COVID, and of course this was post the division of the Trump presidency, but post-COVID, pre-COVID rather, we had a huge percentage of community people at our Bible study. So much to the point that we called it community Bible study. I want to see if the Lord will allow us to be an agent for reconciliation and for healing. I also want to use it as a tool for professional development for young people. So I'm thinking younger people who are in that Rocky Mount area can take their lunch break. I'm going to weave in principles. It's almost going to be like a biblical life coach. I'm still going to teach through books of the Bible, but I'm going to weave in emotional and mental health. I'm going to weave in professional development. And of course, I'm always going to have biblical concepts and principles around the nature of God and sin. I think it's going to be a holistic opportunity for development. So that's going to begin Tuesday, September 9th. Y'all know that's a radical shift for us. I want to hear God right, and I want to get this right, and that's the reason for this, okay? So I already recorded the video about this. They're going to be starting to push it out probably tomorrow. There's been a question about the Greenville pop-up. Listen, we're trying to figure out all of these pop-ups. I promise you, we are coming to Greenville. I personally, and I think this was answered, but we have plans to be in Greenville later on this year, and it's going to be a combination of Greenville and a Thrive City event. So like the pop-ups, it was kind of a gray area, and that's part of the reason I'm restructuring, is because we have things that we do that fall into multiple areas. And then sometimes it's not always as clear who owns it. And I want to create a structure where it's clear about the ownership of something so that then there's no confusion. So thank you for your patience. I'm a huge fan of what's going on in Greenville. I cannot wait to personally get to Greenville. And I promise you, we're going to be doing an event in Greenville. So thank you for that. Will the gym be open for those who are preparing for 5K? Yes. There is a Faith in Motion fitness community. You get free access to the gym, so you can prepare for that, okay? And so if you do that, you will not have to pay the $60 a year and use the online training guide on the fitness title. So just sign up on Faith in Motion's fitness group. The gym is free for you. And for those of you who just want to pay a membership, it's $5 a month. I mean, again, that just helps us keep the equipment clean and updated, and the place running somewhat decently. Can we have a first-time visitors at least stand? Yeah. So we're going to change this. Matter of fact, I think we're going to change this tomorrow. So we are going to begin greeting each other again. We're going to take 60, 90 seconds. I think the instructions that I gave the music department was if they weren't ready for a song, they can at least have the band kind of go wide open for 90 seconds. So when the person does the greeting, hey y'all, greet first time visitors, stand up. We're so glad to have you here. And then come on, love on everybody. We'll love on everybody for 90 seconds. And then the band will come down and then WTC News will come up. Okay. So Christina, thank you for that message. We recognize it's something people miss and that people want, and we're going to make that change. What is the latest on affordable housing in Rocky Mount? Well, I had a meeting yesterday and one the day before that. We are looking at highest and best uses. We want to try to do something at Westmount Drive, but we have a wastewater solution. We had our site engineers and soil scientists out there this week. So we're waiting for those soil reports to come back. We also have a team working at our Hunter Hill address. As you know, we have the Reach Center, the abandoned building, and then all of the land. It's a little bit over 2 acres. Does it make sense for us to do something over there? We're considering that as an option. We're just waiting for the developers to come back and give us numbers and let us know what's possible. So I assure you, I want to commit to something in housing before I'm no longer your pastor. It's something I'm very passionate about, and just ask for your patience. And as you have ideas or see projects, please share with us. And I'll talk more about why there's such an issue with that in our area at a later time. Can we promote members to subscribe to our YouTube channel? I think I did that already, Rhonda. And so you probably were typing while I was speaking. So I am asking every member to subscribe to the church's YouTube channel. I'm also asking every member to subscribe to the pastor's YouTube channel. Y'all, that's it. I'm done. I have questions in the team's chat. Okay, I thought I got them. I'm checking all my messages, y'all. I'm done. Listen, at the beginning, I shared something I've been working on a little bit because I'm believing God is calling us to something bigger. If you believe that, type in bigger, type in boundless. Y'all, God is calling us to do something bigger, and he's going to give us boundless support to be able to do it. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to log off. I'm going to play the first 90 seconds of I Live to See It because there's some things I believe the Lord is calling us to live to see. And thank y'all for being on. I love y'all. Can't wait to see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow.
You kept your word. You broke the night. Pain gave way to reason. What we carried, you have lifted. What was shattered,
You have shifted.
you have shifted.
Eyes once weeping.
Now beholding
Every promise you have spoken.
you have spoken. All of the glory, all of the power, all of the blessings. I live to see it.
Could y'all just type that in? I live to see it. I live to see it. Just type that in. What do you want to live to see? I said, what do you want to live to see? No more bondage, no more pain. All right, y'all, we're out.
Chains hit the floor, the yoke is broken, dead is cast.